Welcome back to Earth Station Trek, a show where we trek from the early days on ABC to the future on Paramount Plus and everywhere in between. I'm Charles Kelso, and it's my privilege to introduce the Earth Station Trek crew. Keith Johnson.
So in the future, will Star Trek cruises be in space?
Yes. What do you mean in the future? They are now. Hello, everybody.
And Veronica Dashel.
Hi.
And joining us this week, special guest Jarrod Cooper. Welcome to the show, Jarrod.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm. And Jarrod's going to be filling us in about his experiences on Star Trek The Cruise. But first, we had a little Star Trek adjacent news. It kind of ties in with the Star Trek adjacent news we had last week. And Alan, you might be tired of talking about this by this point, but...
Oh, no. Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, so the big news came out this week that, I mean, essentially Doctor Who's canceled, right? They're
basically,
just to put it bluntly,
right? After 20 years.
Yeah. So last week we talked about the big Stargate news, and in context of that, we talked about how we kind of know the immediate future of Star Trek with the next season of we had 2 upcoming seasons of whatever that damn Strange New Worlds, and then 1 more season of Starfleet Academy. But beyond that, we just don't know what's going to happen at all.
Right.
And we talked about those. And, I was thinking that I was missing something on our list. I had kind of forgotten about Buffy, because Buffy had gotten farther down the road than Stargate did. There was
they actually filmed some stuff.
There was a script written. It was a go. The green light was lit, and like out of nowhere, it gets canceled. And part of that was we have no idea. We knew that we were supposed to be getting a Christmas episode this year for Doctor Who, but beyond that, zero idea. Well, now we know we're not even getting a Christmas special. The showrunner, Russell T. Davies, is out. His production company, Bad Wolf, is no longer involved. So at this point, Doctor Who does not have a future. At least it does not have an immediate future, and it does not have a definite extended future.
Right.
Something will happen. The show is basically the BBC is has the show out for bids for finding a co-production. That's going to be a tall order, I think, because they had the Disney Plus deal, which got dropped. They have a new streaming deal for the modern series up through Jodie Whittaker with AMC Plus, but nothing as far as production going forward. That stuff on Disney is going to be in limbo. Nobody knows what's going to happen with that. So it's kind of in a dead place right now.
Yeah, it's a weird time for the big franchises, because you had the Stargate that got killed in the cradle. Doctor Who, which has been, long-standing, but it was sort of for us abruptly killed. And the writing's sort of been on the wall if you follow this stuff, but cut short. And I guess that's a weird thing to say after 20 years of the show running, but I think that sucks. Star Trek, they just axed the Star Trek franchise, essentially, as far as we know. We don't have any news yet of anything beyond like the next year, or even who's going to be running it. And then, even Star Wars has been struggling. They just put out a very modestly budgeted Star Wars movie that still managed to underperform, So I don't know. I think we're going to do a longer talk about this soon, about sort of the state of sci-fi franchises. So I don't want to take up this whole episode with it, but it was just sort of a very weird announcement too.
Well, it was made all the more weird by Russell T. Davies' reaction to it,
right?
Because when you look at the 3 different social platforms, the BBC, Bad Wolf, and Russell's, each 3 is very, very different. One is the BBC's is very matter of fact. It's very business. It is very, this is what happened. Bad Wolf's is very much, it was such a pleasure being part of the Doctor Who universe over the past 5 years or whatever it was, and thanks so much for the opportunity. Blah, blah, blah. And then Russell's was like bitchy and salty and not pleasant,
Really?
just like him. And it was so interesting to read and compare those three things. And I think there has been some scrubbing happening, because if you read at least for that first day, if you read the comments on Russell's Instagram under his post, everything is so positive. Russell, and fandom turned on him big time. But every comment was, "Oh, Russell, you were so great with Doctor Who. Thank you so much for everything." If you read the BBC's, everything was, "Well, it's about time this piece of garbage got canned," and blah, blah, blah. It was so negative. So I really think that there was some negative comments removed from Russell's feed. I just suspect that. I thought about posting something gripey of my own just to see if it would stay, but I didn't.
Right.
This is a longer conversation that we'll have.
I said it sounded like a divorce aftermath. Parties of a divorce come out.
Yeah.
I had the same thought, because they're both sort of a false positivity, and both of them were like, "Mommy and Daddy are living in different houses now, but you get 2 birthday presents."
Yeah, but we have no idea if we're getting any birthday presents coming up. But the other thing is that there's some very obvious lying going on, because Russell T Davies had said over and over about this upcoming Christmas special, and how everything that he has talked about with the BBC was going well, and he had shown them scripts and they loved it. And Murray Gold had said, "Yeah, there is a script written. It has multiple endings. It's ready to go, blah, blah, blah." And then in Russell's post, his post-divorce post, said, "You'll find out that there was actually never a Christmas special planned. We were never going to do one. We were just saying that just to see if we could force the BBC's hand into making a decision about it. And I never even wrote a script." Wow. So he's either lying about having written one and showing it to the BBC, or he's now lying about having not written one. Can't stand that man. I just can't.
And if you take that to he was lying then, that also meant Murray Gold was lying,
exactly.
that Jane Tranter was lying, that there was a whole bunch of other stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. So I firmly believe that this is just him being sour grapes.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't stand him.
And like we said, we're going to do a longer talk on this, but I think for years now, we've been fed this idea that, for these franchises to survive, they have to be premium dramas, right? They have to be filmed around the world and with motion picture budgets. And now no one can afford to make them anymore. So I think that there's some reconsideration of the strategy that needs to happen, because these franchises thrived with styrofoam rocks and the same forest in Vancouver every week and quarries, people don't love these shows because you filmed it on location in Tunisia.
Right.
Or you imported this fabric from Romania or whatever.
Thank you. All the costuming that went on Discovery, that was obviously so expensive because they imported
put these
materials
deltas on the bottom of their feet.
Right. Anyway.
Were they wearing delta pattern socks too under the boots?
Probably so.
Yes, probably.
And I don't want to get too far into this because we are going to devote an episode to it, but I lost my point. Never mind.
Well, I think that's a good transition point.
Okay,
Let's
good.
introduce everybody to your friend Jarrod Cooper, and let's get into our topic.
All right. Well, I have known Jarrod for a minute or two, and he has run
45 minutes?
He has run a Doctor Who convention called Hurricane Who. He has been involved in Trek fandom, and Keith is just having repeated problems tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, and Jarrod contacted who I knew he'd been on the cruise because he was posting stuff about it, and he contacted me and said, if you would like for me to come on your show sometime and just talk about the cruise and what it's like and all the experiences that we had and everything, let me know. And I was like, that sounds amazing. Mm-hmm. So here we are. I'm sorry it took so long to get you on, but we had so many things already scheduled out that, hey, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good problem to have, and I'm always here. So. And I have no problem talking about the cruise, so it's all good.
Great.
So anyway, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm always here, and I'll help you talk about Doctor Who and bitch about RTD.
Right on.
So, I have been on 5 Star Trek cruises at this point.
Wow.
I went on the first one thinking it was going to be a one-off. Okay, we're going to be a one and done. I had a good friend who had some medical problems and survived, and we were like, "Yay, this is going to be your celebration of life."
Oh, cool.
And by day 2, we were re-signing up to come back the next year. We were like, "This is everything we didn't know we needed." Star Trek The Cruise is officially licensed. It is not some fan organized thing. They officially have a license through Paramount. It is a full ship charter. And that is the first thing that really struck me. Everyone on that boat is there for the same reason.
Yeah.
It's not like, Dan Harris does the Doctor Who cruise where it's a smaller group on an existing cruise.
Yes.
Everyone on that ship is there for the same reason. Which means if you're in the dining room, if you're in the theater, if you're in line for Starbucks, everybody has something in common.
Yeah.
And there's a conscious effort to keep it positive. Because one thing that we talked about fandom and negativity, and you go online and people bash Doctor Who and they bash Star Trek, name it, it's there. I mean, I think we all remember when Discovery came out, you could practically time it where the episode was in airing by how long the comments were. You find out when you get on the cruise that those people don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the ones that are going to spend a couple $1,000s.
Right. They're not going to spend a couple $1,000s on a cruise.
Right.
But even then, the people that have that they're not there. They don't exist. Because it's an entirely different environment if somebody is sitting here talking about something and you go, I hate Discovery, I hate this. And if they say, I prefer the original series. I prefer Next Gen. I'm a Star Trek fan. I prefer Deep Space Nine. It's a different environment that's like actively being encouraged.
One thing I said on our show one time when we were talking about all these different Star Treks, the Abrams verse and Discovery and stuff, is I love looking at listening to interviews with the actors and the writers, because what'll happen, even if you look at Section 31, the movie, right? When you listen to the actors and they're so excited and they're so sincere, even if they put out a pile of garbage, it changes your attitude and how much you attack the property. Like, I will still say Section 31 is not a good movie, but to your guys' point, the people who have that vitriol and they start like hating everybody and everything associated with it, it's completely different when you look at the people involved. Like they say, nobody sets out to make a bad product typically. And that makes a difference. So I think it's great to be around people who love it.
Mm-hmm.
And from the actor's point of view, this last year on the cruise, we had Gina Yashere. Our Star Trek cruise was the very first Star Trek fan event of any kind she had ever been to.
Wow.
All that she had to go on was the Facebook comments about.
Oh boy!
And so
she brought a life preserver.
Right. And so for her to go onto the cruise into a room that is standing room only.
Yeah.
And for the rest of the Starfleet Academy cast that was there, it was brilliant.
Now I know Zoe Steiner was there.
Yep.
Who else was from the new show from Academy?
Picardo.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that he was there.
Yeah.
Tell us about the rest of the guests also, because
the rest of the guests, I'm going to have to get a list because there are so many.
A lot.
William Shatner was there.
Oh, well.
Wow.
Walter Koenig, Nana Visitor, Terry Farrell, Chase Masterson, Armin Shimmerman, Max Grodenchik, John Delancey, Denise Crosby, Jonathan Frakes is always there. Doug Jones was there, Anthony Rapp, Raven Dowda, Benjamin David Tomlinson. We've already talked about the Starfleet Academy. Going to go over to, we had Tawny Newsome, Eugene Cordero, Noel Wells.
Wow.
Like every Star Trek was represented. Connor Trenier was there. Dominic.
Who are these people? I don't think I know any.
This is all on one boat?
That's all on one boat.
That is amazing.
And then there were because they were trying to do a 60th anniversary of original series.
Mm-hmm.
We had the woman Sandra who did the Salt Vampire.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
yes, we got to interview her. She was at a convention here recently.
Yeah, and then we had the guy who was the original Pike in the chair.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was at our convention this year.
His Q&As were terrible. Hey, so you ask him a question, beep,
Yeah.
I thought you were criticizing us for a minute. Me and Keith ran those.
Me too. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I enjoyed it.
I thought we did pretty good.
No. You were amazing.
But yeah, there's always 30 to 40 guests.
Yeah.
From all, and some of them that aren't even guests that just show up. There was a year that Tracy Coco wasn't a guest of the cruise, but she came.
She's so cool.
Yeah.
She is the coolest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my very first Star Trek the Cruise experience was getting on an elevator and standing this far away from Jeannie Francis because she was on with Frakes.
Wow.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, we've been on a few cruises, but only music cruises because I really like music cruises. Veronica's been on me about going on a Star Trek cruise, but we've been to like a million conventions. We've been working with conventions for many years, and so I've always been kind of hesitant. I just like the music cruises. So I mean, what are you doing day to day? Is it like a convention but at sea, or are there other activities and things?
Yes, it is everything that is cool about a cruise, but with a Star Trek convention inside of it.
Yeah.
There's panels, there's autographs, there's photo ops, etc. If anybody that's ever been on a cruise before, you know that it's impossible to have everyone do everything at the same time. Like some people have early dinner and other people have late dinner. They take full advantage of that. Everything that is on the main stage is done twice, simply because the theater isn't big enough to see everybody.
Yep.
So if you have early dinner, you see the late show, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
A cool thing about the Star Trek cruise is in your stateroom on the television, not only does every Star Trek series have a dedicated channel, there is also a channel dedicated to the main stage. Yeah. So if you were under the weather, you're tired, whatever, you don't want to miss this evening show, you can go to your room and watch it.
So you can watch every Star Trek series.
Every Star Trek series. There is a channel that plays nothing but Next Generation 24 hours a day. And then there's another one that'll show nothing. Last year it was Lower Decks and animated series were on the same channel. But Deep Space Nine has its own channel, Voyager, Enterprise, Discovery.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's just a really cool touch that they really don't need to do.
Exactly.
But it's really cool. And we get there's signings, conventions as always, but all the stuff with the cruise on top of it. And just different little things that happen. They have events that the guests will host. Like some of these are extra cost, like if you want to go to a wine pairing or a cookie decorating class or whatever. But most of the time, just being on the boat in and of itself and around these fans is the experience of and of itself.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time, and this goes back, 15 years maybe, I don't remember, that Nana Visitor was doing a lot of like cooking things online, and basically she was trying to like put together a cooking show and have somebody pick it up, and she and her sister do this cooking show together, and they were freaking hilarious. They were so funny. And being on a cruise and having her do like a cooking class would be the most amazing thing ever. Let me welcome some of our viewers before we move on too far. Michael Scott says, hi, folks. And our buddy Bill says hello to Jarrod. Welcome. And Wayne, a.k.a. Tiger Blade 2002, says hello, everyone.
Hi, all.
So anybody who's watching, if you have questions for Jarrod about the cruise, or just want, or if you've been on the cruise and want to share an experience, drop it in the comments and we will get it.
Yeah. And they do a similar thing on music cruises where, because the staggered dinners, you'll have the same band playing twice.
Yeah.
But with the band, I mean, they're essentially playing the same set list. So with a little variation, you're going to have the same show.
Yes.
Panels aren't that way, though.
Exactly.
So, is there a way to watch the other panels that you miss? Is there like the equivalent of like a Dragon Con TV where you can watch panels from earlier in the day or anything?
In your stateroom.
Okay.
So
yeah,
you can watch it live and watch it later?
Sometimes they'll let you watch it later because some of the actors have contract things that says they can be broadcast but not recorded.
Understood.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Okay.
Live is the go-to. If it's repeated, you're lucky.
Okay. So it's streamed live to the cabins, or you have to go to it live?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can go to, if you aren't in the theater watching it, you can go to your cabin and watch it.
That's cool.
And one thing that I will tell you, a little trick that we always talk about with the Star Trek cruise, we get on the Star Trek cruise, we get off the 80s cruise. Because the same company does the Star Trek cruise and the 80s cruise back to back. So when we get on the ship, it's all decked out in Federation for Star Trek. But when we get up and it's time to leave, all that's gone and the 80s is up now.
Nice.
So what was a Tribble bar last night is a Pac-Man bar tonight.
Right.
Today. Yeah.
That's so funny. I wonder what cruise they have before that. All the like tattoo or whatever, all their stuff is taken down, and all of a sudden everything is Star Trek, and people are like, "What the hell?"
It's a normal Muggle cruise.
Oh, okay.
Fun,
lame,
even better.
Yeah. So because there are people that will book back to back to just stay on the ship.
Oh, sure.
And yet they talk about that all the stuff, the Star Trek stuff, start going up, and they're like, "What is this? What's happening?"
Yeah. Let me get this very, very important comment from Wayne, who says, I love it when Alan says Tiger Blade 2002. There you go. There's a bonus one for you. Okay. There was some cabaret performances.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And in particular, and we have obviously in this cast of guests that are on this ship, a lot of people who are performers of various levels,
right?
Professionals like Anthony Rapp. The one that I was thinking of mostly asking you about was Zoe Steiner, who basically sat cross-legged on the floor with either like a stylophone or something. I don't remember.
It was like a zither.
Yes. And sang the San Francisco song from that episode. That was just amazing. What a great thing for her to do.
They do a lot of cabaret and shows like that. There's a lot of musical acts. One of the things that's become a staple on Star Trek The Cruise, which is very weird, not last year, 2006, 2005, Robert Picardo did a show called Star Trek Goes to the Opera. And where this came from, Robert Picardo himself is an actual opera fan.
Yes.
And he went to the Met and fell in love with the performance and went backstage to meet the singer, and the tenor went, "Please state the nature of the medical emergency." And thus he was sitting there talking to Arturo, Robert Picardo was, and says, "Do you like boats?" And thus we got Arturo Chacon Cruz, one of the best tenors at the Metropolitan Opera, on Star Trek The Cruise, performing with us. And Robert Picardo did a show that was basically saying, "Hey, remember all that opera they had me sing on Voyager? This is what it's supposed to sound like." And it's just brilliant. And like you said, we get Anthony Rapp, and not just the talent, the attendees. Every year they do Gorn's Gong Show, where attendees get to go on and perform their skit just like the Gong Show, and it never fails. You'll be in tears, like moved to tears by these people because they're so good. Like the girl that won this year sang "Dream On" in Klingon.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. And the other big show that people talk about that happened at night, there was one, Q's Cosmic Surprise, I'll never forget, that was what it was called. It was John Delancey introducing the Curtis Institute of Music, which is basically a band, and they do a little bit of concert. And at the beginning of the show, he's like, "Look, there's a big hole in the middle of the floor. I wonder what that's about." And we're like, "Okay." And at the end of the stage, Elton John style, a piano with William Shatner ascended out of the stage, and he provided us with his rendition of Piano Man. No, Rocket Man, not Piano Man, Rocket Man.
I was about to say, he did Piano Man? That's hilarious.
That's a new one for him.
Yeah, Rocket Man.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I was going to say, you mentioned performers. Obviously, she's not performing anymore. Years ago, my wife and I went to visit a friend in New York City. It's back in 2001. And I had seen the movie Chicago. I think it had been out then, but I wanted to see the actual Chicago. So we got tickets to the Schubert to go see Chicago, walk in there, and guess who was doing the show that year as a replacement? It was the Na Visitor. She starred And it was fantastic. She's a good dancer. It was so cool.
Yeah.
This year, Nana came out and sang a duet with the tenor from the opera.
Nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, assuming it was good. I don't know.
Yeah, it was great.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Let's see. Bill says, I still remember John Delancey in a small room giving excellent advice for half an hour because a local aspiring actor asked for advice. Such generosity. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I will tell you about John Delancey. There are some people that really impressed me on the cruise for different ways. And Alan, I know that coming from an event runner background, when we look at talent and we look at actors and people, we sometimes see things that go, wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times John Delancey ate a meal that wasn't in the buffet with the normal people. Like, he is always in the buffet at a table with fans talking.
Yeah.
Anthony Montgomery from Star Trek Enterprise, the same way.
Yeah, that's cool.
They are always walking around. I mean, and not to knock it, Walter Koenig, 88 years old.
Yeah.
We timed him spending 4 hours in the bar one day.
Wow.
Just sitting and talking to fans.
Wow.
Wow.
That's so cool.
And it's just a different thing when they're walking around being a thing. You don't see them seconded to their rooms. Gina Yashere was the same way. She took on William Shatner. It was almost like we were on two cruises this year because William Shatner did his entire thing over the first 3 days, and then we lost him in Puerto Rico. But Gina came on. Gina and Zoe boarded when Shatner departed, and it's almost like we hit an iceberg because it was a completely different cruise. Like, Gina took that boat by storm in the best way.
I bet she did.
Yeah.
You know,
imagine.
what's interesting, you talk about somebody like John Delancey being so personable, is, I listened to him on, I want to say it might have been Conotrinier, the show they do, which is now what is called the Decon Chamber, the guys from Enterprise. And John Delancey has pretty severe dyslexia. And he talked about how back when he was coming in, he was literally labeled retarded because that's what they used back then. And slow, he actually flunked out of a couple of schools. And, now the guy has spoken with operas and stuff like that. And if anybody back in the day who grew up with dyslexia and they labeled you a certain way, he had to struggle a lot with his confidence, with speaking out in front of people. And he even talked about all during Star Trek. He would approach, kind of like Henry Winkler's the same way. He would sometimes approach scripts with trepidation and dread because he's afraid he flubbed something. And it's amazing the kind of personable person you're talking about he is, having overcome that kind of stuff. Because he carries that with him. You never truly get rid of what people labeled you back in the day. And he's talked about that. And I think it's great that he is so good around people and good guy to talk to.
I mean, he hosts the costume contest. Q's costume contest is something that happens every year, and he is the host of it.
So cool. I first saw John Delancey way back on Days of Our Lives, where he played Eugene. Remember him? He's the kooky inventor on Days of Our Lives. And then he had a kind of a chilling role in The Hand That Rocks the Cradles, that real creepy doctor.
Right.
And then he shows up as Q.
I remember him telling a story at a convention years and years ago about an unscripted line that he got into an episode of Days when they're on a plane and the plane is in trouble and it's going to go down or whatever. And they were trying to get people to put their head into their laps, like bend over and put your head in your lap. And whoever the girl was, one of the women on the show, her character is maybe a little loose. And he said, "No, your own lap, not someone else's." And it went out on the air. So
wow. He's quick on his feet, that's for sure.
He is quick on his feet.
That's awesome.
And I will say it's not just the older cast that is that way. One of the guests that impressed me the most on Star Trek The Cruise by far is Sonequa Martin Green. Every morning, her and her husband got up, went down to the coffee place on the promenade, got a cup of coffee. She walked up and down the promenade and then went up to the buffet, walked all the way around and said good morning to every person there.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Wow.
She is just a hoot. And then you have the lower deckers, Tawny, Newsom, and Kingston.
Oh boy.
I can imagine Tawny like running around like a crazy person.
Let's just say if you sit on the promenade about midnight, 1 o'clock, and watch people stumble through going back to their rooms, you might recognize some faces. I mean, go ahead.
I can believe that about Sonequa because again, I saw some, I've seen a lot of interviews with the cast members. They talk about she's such a nice person. She takes people under her wing. She becomes like the true, she's like the true Southern woman. She's from Alabama. And everybody just says she's just a really good person to be around.
She 100% is. Although, if we were going to give an award to the most personable person on Star Trek The Cruise, there's no contest. It would be Doug Jones.
Oh,
really?
That man, it is his goal in life to give everyone on that boat a hug. Whether you want it or not, Doug hugs are a thing, and you will see him 3-4 times. Every time you see him, you get a hug, whether you want it or not.
He's the Katie Manning of Star Trek.
Yes.
Except he's 7 feet tall and she's like 3 feet tall.
Basically.
He's another person that's so fascinating to me because by his own words, like you just said, Alan, he's so tall and he's so thin and he had specific skills. And he himself said back in the day, he didn't think he was going to make it in the industry, not work regularly like he is. It's kind of like Andy Serkis or something over on the Lord of the Rings and stuff.
Sure.
Man, you just never know what talent you have. And also you create stuff because I still love to this day. I remember how Doug Jones just walks as Saru. It's just, that's just the way he does it. And he's got the hook feet and stuff like that. He just inhabited that role like he inhabits every role he's ever done.
And this last year, Doug gave a mime class on the boat where you sat there and he spent like the first 5 minutes talking through how he developed the Saru walk and then did a whole mime class. And that's just something completely separate.
Charles, Veronica, I bet that would be fun for you guys.
That'd be the kind of class we would do. Now, are additional classes like that included, or is it additional cost to say sign up for?
It depends on what it depends on what it was. Doug's mime class was just an open panel. You just went down to the and watched it. Some of the things like the wine tasting, if there's food involved, there's probably going to be a cost involved. So you have to see. One thing I wanted to do really quick while we're here is I wanted to share, because obviously we get swag on the cruise, right?
Yeah.
We get a shirt. They always give us, lanyards that every year. But we also get things that are random. I mean, we get posters for every year. We get program books. But then you sometimes will get a paper towel animal Gorn.
That you will never ever use and it will remain exactly like that.
Or some of Janeway's Nebula coffee.
Ooh, nice.
And for this year, the big one was we got a cruise exclusive action figure from Nacelle.
Wow.
Which is Kirk as a Romulan. That was exclusive to the cruise. And we're like, that's really awesome.
So that stuff you get.
It shows up on your bed.
Yep.
Wow. Well,
that's
exciting.
You go back to your room and it shows up on your bed. Normally, when you embark, you get the lanyard in the program right away because the lanyard doubles as where you keep your room key, so it's actually useful. Yeah. And another thing that you'll see that I put Deck 7 on my name. That's because on the cruise I stay on my cabin's on Deck 7. For people that are interested in going, it does get cheaper to come back than it does the first time you go. Because
is that right?
As a returning cruiser, you do get discounts. You get discounts for being a returning cruiser. You get perks for being a returning cruiser. And if you pay in full, you get even more of a discount. But the first time you go, it's expensive. But as it comes back, I mean, me and my friend Terry, we went the first year and we shared a cabin, and for the second year, it was the same price for us both to have our own private cabins than to share.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Because of discounts that were available.
Yeah.
So,
that's incredible.
And
so you've been on 2 cruises?
I've been on 5.
5.
Wow. Nice.
I've been on 5.
Yeah, do a few more and it'll eventually be free.
Well, and after you go on 5, you get what they call assimilated into the cruise collective, which you do get a little bit extra swag and extra perks there, like thank you shows for repeat customers.
Wow.
But the decks, there's a lot of deck pride. I mean, not just lower deckers, etc.
Sure.
You've all probably seen people decorate their doors on cruises.
Mm-hmm.
That is a thing. People will make swag for the cruise and just leave it on their door.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to be smart about this, right? Because every year people are like, someone stole this on my door. And I was like, well, you have to treat your front door like your front yard at your house.
Yeah.
If you don't want somebody stealing it, don't stick
put it
out
up there. No.
But at the same time, you don't expect that kind of thing to happen in that environment.
Right. You don't. But the one I always do is there was a woman who a couple years back, set up a shrine to Uhura and had 4 Hallmark keepsake ornaments hanging on her door.
No, that's a bad idea.
One of them walked. Shockingly enough, one of them walked. But when she sent the picture, I was like, well, you better be lucky that they only took the $20 one and not the $400 one that was hanging next to it.
Wow.
Right?
So you just have, but people all the time do stuff. There are groups that will give, like this pin was made by a fan.
Look at that little turtle.
A little sea turtle with a delta.
Oh.
And my favorite group on Star Trek The Cruise is something called the Kapla Collective.
I love these names.
The Kapla Collective, they sit on the promenade, which is like the main thoroughfare of the cruise, in front of the bar. And they will yell Kapla at anyone who walks by.
Wow. I could do that.
Right.
Now, Keith, you say that. I want you to read anyone who walks by. If they work for the cruise, if it's a cleaning lady, if it's somebody running to a panel, anyone who walks by, Kapla!
Wow.
Until like 2-3 in the morning when they go to bed.
Wow. Let me get a few comments here. And RB, do we want to take a break?
That's up
or
to you.
do we need to?
I think we're on a roll.
Yeah.
Okay. Bill says, and this is about Doug and Katie. Now all I can think of is those two conspiring and saying, you hug them high, I'll hug them low. He says, I really appreciate all these details. I know none of you are rich, and I'm glad people don't have to be rich to be there. I don't think I'll ever be able to afford to go, so it's really great to get this kind of virtual experience. I don't think I'd ever be able to afford to go either. But
there's a lot of people that post videos on YouTube, and so you can see a couple of the things. You won't be able to experience it the same way that we've been there, but you can have a general knowledge. Just search for Star Trek Cruise on YouTube.
Well, if someone is thinking about going though, I mean, ballpark it. Like, what would they expect to pay for a first cruise?
If they are going with someone or by themselves, I would budget between $3,000 and $4,000.
Okay, for an individual. So if there's 2 of you,
right,
6 to 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
And obviously that depends on.
And that's a week-long cruise.
Yeah, that's 7 days.
Yeah,
and it depends on what type of cabin you have. If you have an inside cabin,
right.
One thing that happens a lot with Star Trek The Cruise, and I've been tracking it. When we made it back to port, the ship was 80% sold out for next year.
Oh my gosh.
That was before they opened it up to the public.
Right.
Yeah.
That was just people that rebook for next year. Like I know this past year they sent a offer that if you booked before the cruise set sail, you got an extra discount.
Okay.
And you just went online. I want my same cabin. Boom, boom, boom. Done.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, and a lot of people, they hear that and it's like sticker shock. But the way I justify it in my head, I don't have to buy food. I don't have to pay for a hotel room. If I was to go to Trek Las Vegas, I would easily spend that much.
Oh yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, and there's a lot of nice trips to go on. Like I would love to go to Liverpool and London. I have not yet. Right.
Yeah.
There are reasons.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there an unlimited drinks package?
That is a good question.
Okay.
It is. You have to drink a lot for it to pay for itself.
Oh, that
challenge accepted.
But if you go, but if you go on the 80s cruise, the drinks package is included.
Oh, okay.
It's not on the Star Trek cruise because there's a bunch of people that don't drink, so it's wasted.
Okay.
But the 80s,
Okay.
yeah, there is a story about the 80s cruise that ECP tells about them running out of alcohol and having to dock alongside another boat to replenish them in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
So,
But I
Jarrod,
Go ahead.
go ahead. Are the cruises once a year? Is it just
Once a year. Once
So-
a year.
Okay, so when you say it's 80% sold out even for the next year, they already have the agenda and the guests for the next year, or they have the guests for the next year?
Okay.
Are they far ahead of time?
Okay, the way that would work, like
Mhm.
right now, this next year's cruise is going to be in February out of New Orleans. We're going out of New Orleans, going down that side.
Okay.
About December or
Mhm.
January, they'll announce the dates and the ports. And then once we get on the ship, night 1 is when they announce the guests for next year.
Okay.
And that's
Wow.
usually not all the guests for next year. They usually get more.
They
I mean,
get
it's kind
more-
of like Dragon Con almost. It's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you get your badge at Dragon Con, not knowing who the heck is going to be there, but you're going to get it and get it in advance and take care of it. But
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, for instance, they had announced Keisha from Starfleet Academy as she was coming, and then like a week before the cruise, she had to cancel. That's how we ended up with Gina Yashure,
Okay.
because that happens
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
oh yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
we know from being convention runners that always happens every single year, no matter, especially if you announce a year ahead of time,
Mhm.
it's going to happen.
Especially for working actors.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
So do
So-
they have fan panels as well, or is it primarily the actors? Okay.
There is a fan room that you can set up and go sign up to host a panel or a meet and
Mhm.
greet, etc.
Wow.
The Sci-Fi Sisters are on there every year.
Hmm.
Trek Nation is there.
Mhm.
They always host greet meetups and things of
Mhm.
that nature. So yeah,
We
it's-
could do that.
Absolutely, we could.
I was thinking
Yeah.
more of puppet show.
Of course you were, but I'm thinking Star Trek.
That sounds like
I'm
such a
thinking
sweaty
what?
puppet show in the freaking Caribbean.
So, Jarrod,
Yeah,
people
no.
In an
like
air conditioned room.
you mentioned William Shatner and Walter Koenig, since they're up there in years. How much do you see them? Do they mingle, or you just see them from
Well,
performances?
apparently, you saw Walter
You saw
every
Wal-
day in the bar.
you saw Walter all around the place.
Mhm.
Okay.
Shatner, you never ever see, and some of that just comes with the territory.
Mhm. Yeah.
You were talking about fun interactions with work.
Mhm.
2 years ago, we had Kate Mulgrew, and
Oh.
she had committed to the cruise well a year in advance. Well, she got work,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
the day the cruise set sail was media night for her new play.
Oh.
And so she had to pull a Shatner in that she wasn't with us the first 2 or 3 nights,
Right.
but it was an amazing experience. Everyone getting back from a shore excursion, and then when it came time for the cruise director to give his all aboard announcement, the cruise director was Kate Mulgrew,
Yay.
basically saying, "This is Captain Janeway. Everyone listen." Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
What are-
Chin, chin.
What are some of the destinations that you've gone on your cruises?
We this past year we were in San Juan, Puerto Rico. We've been to Belize, Cozumel, Curacao, Aruba, all sorts of places.
Wow.
Nice. And,
Yeah.
And
I
what
have-
time of year is it generally?
It's February.
Okay.
Like this year, we were in Puerto Plata, Haiti, San Juan, Puerto Rico, and Coco Cay, the Royal Caribbean private island.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm looking to see where we are this year. Cozumel, Montego Bay, and Georgetown from New Orleans for this next year.
Okay.
And to be honest, that ship could go out into the harbor and spin in circles for a week and come back. And
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Of course.
100%. When we've gone on the music cruises that we've been on, I don't think we left the Beach Boys cruise when we went on that because it was only a 3-day
Yeah, we
cruise.
did.
Well, did we actually leave?
Yeah. Are you gonna argue about this, or you just keep
I
talking?
don't know. Anyways, but I'd prefer just to stay on.
They went to
the-
Nassau.
No, that's right. We did stop in Nassau. We took that off briefly
Oh, I forgot.
because they didn't have anything else going on the boat.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Mo-
So you mentioned the masquerade earlier, and I wanted to ask you about cosplay on the ship. what's some of the highlights that you saw this year, and how much of it is there? Like, out of this whole ship, what percentage do you think are cosplayers, and how elaborate does it get?
40%.
Okay.
I would say 40% have some sort of cosplay, and you will see it range from t-shirt to cybernetics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's really cool is they have makeup artists that have worked on the show that will set up on the ship. And if you wanted to pay somebody $50 to make you look like a Borg for the week, go.
Nice.
Cool.
There's a guy who, of his own money, went down there, had them make him a Talaxian, and then he got an apron and went and stood up in front of the buffet and doing like Neelix photo ops for anybody that just wanted to walk in.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah. Is there a limit on the amount of luggage that you can bring on the ship?
No.
Okay.
You just have to
bring every cosplay you can think of.
Right.
Yeah, but you're responsible for getting it back to your car. So within, it's there. But you have people that bring any and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's someone who brings all their Star Trek comics and then just leaves them in the library and says, okay, this is my gift to you all. I don't want them to sit in my house anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
You get a lot of that where people are that need to rehome something.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, here it is. Who wants it?
Huh. Never thought about that.
That reminds me, you guys, I have to get rid of some books. If I've got any Trek things that you want, let me know.
Okay.
I'll send you pictures.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Anyway, sorry.
But yeah, it's really, really good. And like I said, the people 100% make it. And it's one of the coolest things that we learned as well is that the Royal Caribbean staff some of them will ask to be on this boat.
Sure.
Like one of the people we met a couple of cruises back was a piano bar singer who learned how to play Faith of the Heart because he knew. Yeah.
Right on.
Awesome.
Right on.
Yeah.
But it's like a lot of the staff at Dragon Con hotels are like, we look forward to this week every year. Mm-hmm. And I know it is hard work for those people because it is overrun with the massive humanity and their workload is so heavy, but they, for the most part, enjoy it.
Yeah.
And one thing that I really like too, coming from a public service, customer service background, the group on the Star Trek cruise will police itself.
Yes.
You will not see a Karen yelling at someone somewhere because the group won't let that happen.
Yeah.
Like, calm down. We're here.
Yeah.
You are giving all of us a bad name.
Wow. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah. Is that group pretty good about cleaning up after themselves as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There are some conventions I attend that's not the case.
That's true. But, Dragon Con can be like that. But it's a whole different thing. There's so many people, but also they're not all like, us.
Right.
A lot of it is like the people who want to be geeks for one weekend out of the year and have a big party.
And another thing that contributes a lot to this that will make probably perk up some ears, I would say 99% of the cruise is over the age of 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that they will let you book down to 16, I think, but I can probably count on my fingers and toes the number of people under the age of 20 I have ever seen on any Star Trek cruise.
Wow. Yeah.
And you mentioned before the difference between the cruise in this case, but also I think conventions and the online feedback that you get. So if you're just online, you've never gone to in-person fan gatherings, it is a 9-day difference. Yeah. Because for one, there are people who are keyboard warriors who get real tough on the internet and will back off in person. But also you get these sort of grifters who go, franchise to franchise. This week it's Star Trek, next week it's the Odyssey and whatever else with their culture war BS. And they sort of pee in the pool for everybody. But I was thinking about this when we were just recently at Stellarfest. And I was in panel after panel because I was running the room. But a lot of people with very different and very surprising opinions who just respectfully had conversations, and not. So I just wanted to jump in with that. If you're online and you're like, I do not want to hang around these fans in person try it, because it's a very different experience.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one of the things we got to do on the cruise, because the cruise set sail while Starfleet Academy was broadcasting, and we were out to sea the week of Simulation Acclimation Mill.
Right.
The week of that episode dropping, and they put a thing on the schedule that said, okay, there's going to be a preview in the main ballroom at 11 o'clock at night, 10, 11 o'clock at night. Gina and Zoe introduced it, and Robert Picardo was sitting there in the audience watching it with us. And can I tell you, Alan, at the end of that episode, he got a 3-minute standing ovation.
Wow.
I'm not surprised at all.
Deserved.
I mean, he was remarkable. I mean, because that's dimensions of his character that we really had not ever seen before. And he is such a consummate actor. Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys know this, we all have a mutual friend with Robert Picardo.
Okay.
Sylvester McCoy.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
He played the spoons on my shoulder once, the shoulder right here.
Yeah. Robert Picardo saw me in a bar one night and literally walked up and said, "Sylvester says hi."
Aww.
I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
wow.
Sweet.
I think you were talking about the cost, and people might be a little hesitant about the cost. I think a couple of things you guys mentioned. One, like Charles said, people, especially younger people, need to remember what you see online is not what you're going to get on the cruise. And the other thing is, there's facts here. Walter Koenig is his late 80s. William Shatner's in his 90s. It's a good time to see some of these people the old guard, some of the people, and even the Deep Space Nine people, they're getting into their 70s and stuff like that. So it's a good opportunity to see people like that. Unfortunately, one day they won't be around. And especially with, like Shatner's 95, looks great, but still, good opportunity to see people like that.
Yeah. George Takei is on the cruise next year. Some of the people that they have lined up for next year, some of the people are always there, but there is some back and forth. Frakes is there, LeVar Burton, Gates McFadden, John Delancey, Denise Crosby, Nana Visitor, Chase Masterson, Casey Biggs, Robert Picardo, Tim Russ, Garrett Wong, Connor Trenier, Jason Isaacs, Mary Wiseman, Wilson Cruz, Todd Stashwick, Mary Chifo, Mika Burton, Celia Rose Gooding, Melissa Navia, Dan Donnet, Dawn Lewis, and Noel Wells.
Are you kidding?
That's just the actors. We also have, director David Livingston, Lolita Fatho, Dr. Aaron McDonald, Dr. Muhammad Noor. Like, there's all sorts of people. Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah, if you can't find a panel or an event to attend, then you're on the wrong boat.
Yeah. Honestly, I tell people all the time, if you have nothing else to do, go sit on the promenade and yell at people with the Klingons.
Yeah, just yell kapla to people.
Yeah.
You know what I could do? I have been a amateur astronomy hobbyist since I was like 7. I could talk to Tim Russ, because from what I understand, he doesn't go anywhere without his telescope. Literally, he's a huge astronomy guy.
And if you're an astronomy person, Dr. Aaron McDonald, every year she does a stargazing event out on the deck.
Oh, that would be great.
Oh my gosh, I would do that every night.
So when you're out here.
But I would just corner Noelle Wells and talk to her all afternoon about her one season of Saturday Night Live. I would just dominate her attention just on that one job. But she's done so many other cool things, but that would be my focus.
I honestly didn't know it's as big as what you're saying it is. Because I've listened to YouTube channels and stuff and who's on there. I did not realize it was this vast a group of actors on the cruise.
It's basically Star Trek Las Vegas on a boat.
Yeah,
it's the closest thing you're gonna get, because even if you go to other conventions like Dragon Con will have like 8 to 10 Star Trek actors, which is still a lot for any convention.
It's still more than they get for most any other
property. But here you're gonna get like 20 to 30 plus directors and writers and other people.
Whoever else just shows up. Last year, one of our biggest non-guests was Rod Roddenberry.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, how cool.
And that, again, was someone who just walked the ship, and you would bump into him in the bar. Oh, hey, Rod, thank you for everything you do. Okay, you having a good time?
When you're saying non-guest, like, is Rod Roddenberry or Tracy Lee Coco buying a ticket and just going on the cruise?
Rod went as part of his business.
Okay.
Tracy Lee Coco was not announced as a guest. Someone bought her a ticket and went.
Oh, cool.
You know? And like I said, with like Jeannie Francis was not a guest. She was just hanging around with Frakes.
Right.
Yeah.
If I've been on Star Trek, I'm not buying a ticket. We're coming up to the end, though. I mean, do you have a closing thought for everybody? Like, if you're going to make one pitch for somebody to go on the cruise, like, what would it be?
If you want to go to the most accepting community that's out there and ruin conventions for yourself for the rest of your life, Star Trek Cruise is a way to do it.
I think that's an important thought right there, given our times. And like we say, people, we always on the show, we have our things we like and don't like, but we try not to be actively hostile toward things.
Right.
And that hatred, there's no place for that.
And this is an actively accepting place for that.
That is so nice.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Jarrod. Where can people find more of you?
Follow Hurricane Who on Facebook, or I'm on X as @Jarrod Cooper.
Okay.
And I'll be around, but yeah.
Oh, great. And Keith, where can people find more of you?
You can find me on Facebook, primarily the ESO Network Facebook groups.
And Alan?
Cosmic Creative, KOZMIC Creative.com.
Awesome. And how about us, Veronica?
FeltNerdy.com.
That's right. And that's Felt Nerdy across social media, or Felt Nerdy and Dirty if you like dirty puppet shows. And where else can people find us?
Monkeying Around, a podcast about the monkeys.
That's right. We go live every Wednesday evening on YouTube talking about the monkeys or a related topic.
At 8 p.m. Eastern.
8 p.m. Eastern. And do you have a closing for us this week?
Go on the Star Trek Cruise.
Okay, that wasn't very convincing. You're not very excited about it.
I know, right?
Star Trek Cruise.
There we go.
I thought it would be something like Bon Voyage. All right, everybody. See you next Thursday.
Thanks again, Jarrod.
What are we doing next Thursday, Chuck?
Next Thursday, we have Matt and Elaine Sweatman from Elaine and Matt Watch TV talking about Star Trek The Next Generation Season 7.
Yeah.
Finale. Okay.
Yes.
Well, the final season.
Wait.
Awesome.
They finally finished their TNG rewatch.
Yeah, they're chugging through it too.
All right, everybody. See you next Thursday
Thanks
night,
all.
8 p.m. Eastern. See ya.